Okay, I'm back here. So I took a break, went outside, got some sunlight. Yeah, so we're getting back into this. So as we did last video, we added this GUI here so we can see what our current settings are in our groups. Right now, groups don't really have settings. The only thing that will ever be changeable will be the parent, and we'll handle that later because we'll change this to a filled box and we'll add a save button. But right now, I don't really care to change the hierarchy on groups. What we're going to do is we're going to add. Let's do some icons. I don't like the way these icons look, just having flat things. So we're going to really quickly make those. And yeah, so let's go Volts Engine. We'll just throw this in Volts Engine. There's no real point to kind of hide these icons in each individual mod because they're going to be more than likely reused over and over again. I can see us at least coming up with the idea to utilize a few of these icons a few different times and do a few different things with them, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and we want to edit our 9 button sheet. So we're going to need an icon that looks like a player's face. We're going to need an icon that looks like a gear. And we're going to need an icon that looks, I don't know what to do for the node system. I'm thinking about just using one of these icons down here or something, but maybe a dot? Yeah, a dot might work. Okay, so we want to copy the blanks real quick. I probably should have did it for a lot of these icons. I probably should have set these up so there was a set of blanks behind all of the icons, and then we do other stuff. But too late for that. So we want to call this, I guess, we'll call it player. And we'll put this down here. And we just gotta drag a face in here. There's not a lot to it. I think I have one. Oh, I had one on my desktop once upon a time. We're gonna have to find one. So be. Need to go to my dev folder pretty much, and we'll dig to the asset folder. I believe last time we did this, the file was called Skull. Yep, here we go, Steve Skull. And you know what? That might be the right size. That is remarkably the right size. It does need to be positioned a little better. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to cut this out of this real quick without my draggy thing getting all messed up. And then we want to delete this layer that got copied in. Go to our player layer, which needs to be down here. Paste it back in. And I need to shave a little bit off of the side to make it kind of... Actually, no, that'll be fine. Zoom in though a couple more times, that way I can get a better look here. It just kind of looks a little weird when you don't have it perfectly lined up. So it kind of needs to go down like this, so you get this perfect 3x3 here, or we go up to like this. But it kind of needs to be centered, but the problem is the buttons aren't exactly centered because of the edging on them. So if we come up by 1, come up by 2, that might be the best center thing right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to Control Z this and remove this one. And we're going to put this kind of right there so it's centered. And then we're going to make another one, put it here, and then of course we make another one and put it here. And then we kind of need to colorize these. So I've got the current one selected, so we're going to go ahead and hue balance saturate it. And we're just going to drop the lightness off this one, so it'll be disabled. Okay, hit cancel on that one. Then we kind of want to mess with this one, so we want to color balance. And no, ew. Cancel. There's got to be a better way to do this. We can do colorize. Nah, that looks weird. Yeah, that'll work. It looks a little bizarre, but it'll work. So we got our player head now. We need a gear, so we're gonna have to go do that thing, and we're gonna have to figure out what our positioning is on this one. So go really quickly like this. Control C, Control V. Where the flip did that go? Do it, Control Z real quick. Need to make a new layer. New layer. This one would be. We'll do the gear, and then we'll figure out node in a bit. So let's go back to blank. I think I miscopied blank real quick, which is the reason why we don't actually have a copy on that one. And we come down here and hit Control B, and then we'll drag this here. And let's go to Volts Engine real quick. We're gonna go grab our gear out of that. I'm probably gonna have to collar that gear though. So this will be GitHub 17 Volts Engine source main resources assets items. Yeah, there's our gear. It's not exactly the gear I was thinking of. I forgot we did update our gear textures a while back, but should be able to use it. Okay, that's not what I want to move, and you know it. It's gonna. So I want to move. I want to move the gear, but because of the way this is designed, it will try to move the topmost layer, and this isn't gonna fit properly. So we need to resize this. Actually, I got a better idea. So we're gonna leave that there, and we're gonna go and resize the entire canvas. Scale image, and so I don't have to guess on the math here. Because I knew, so yeah, I pretty much thought it was going to be in 1,000 something. So it'd be 1,024 is what that says. Cool. Scale up. Hopefully Minecraft doesn't flip on this. Oh, we messed up on the scaling. So we want to do image, we want to scale, and we want to turn this to none. And this is 1,024. Hit scale. There we go. That way, this image right here, so we're going to grab the selected, so we want to go layer, and we want to scale layer, and we want to drop this. Did we just scale this whole thing up? Why does this layer act like it's still the same size? Image, scale image. Yeah, our whole image is higher. Did it not scale? It didn't scale everything else with it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is Control Z, Control Z. There we go. And what we do is image, scale image. Okay, we got the none. 0, 2, 4. Scale. Should have scaled everything with it. If I copy this, this should be like a 64 by 64. Well, how about? I guess the head would be a better way to indicate it. Yeah, it's scaled up. This thing is still not quite gonna fit on this. Because these should be like what, 9 by 9 pixels, and these are 30 something by 30 something. 36 by 36. So 36 divided by 9, that's 4 times the size. And what about this thing? So we've got, let's get our geared up ping selected, and we want to hit layer, scale layer. So 32 by 32. I think it was originally a 16 by 16. Yeah, there we go. And we'll drag this to be here, and it's going to have to be scaled back up. So let's get it. Actually, I don't think it changed any, so we just need to say put it in one of the corners here, and then we need to just grab the drag scale system, and we want to set this to none, and we just want to kind of get the size somewhere where we want it, and I'm thinking 26 by 26 would be good. So scale that real quick. That doesn't look at all good. If we put the button, I mean, and of course this is gonna be stupid. There we go. If we put that in the center, that's just too small. This is the difficulty of trying to get stuff like this to work, is you need to do a certain thing, but necessarily getting it to do that certain thing is not exactly going to work. So what we're going to do, I'm going to toss this over here, and I'm going to go back to here, and I'm just going to hand draw me a brand new gear. I think I can pull it off. Anyways, we want to do 2 pixels, which is our normal pixel size. Oh, apparently it's not going to give me what I want, so I have to do per pixel. So that's about the center there. I'm going to need a black edge on this. Okay. We'll clean the corners up on this in a bit. So we want to do 1, 2, 3. And yeah, that'd be a good top point there. I'll just leave those in there, those little dots in there. Those actually don't look too bad. So we get these like that. Got our edge there. Still wish I had my texture artist. I could just go by text artist. Hey, I need a weirdly shaped gear. Can you pull that off? He's like, yeah. I'd be like, yeah. Give me like 3 minutes and it'll be done. I shit you not. Morton's that good of a texture artist. He can get stuff done really quickly. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3 pixels away. So we probably need 4 maybe. Yeah, because how does this scale? We got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we add about 2 pixels on every dimension change. 1, 2, 3. So that about there. That'd be like that would be our corner. Apparently the corner is pretty much like this. Really boxy looking when you think about it. I'm gonna have to clean the corners up a bit. I'm starting to get something that looks like a gear now. Just gotta do a little bit of work on it. So let's do like that. Okay, and then we want to grab this collar and we want to round the corner off. Yeah, we get a bit of a circle going now. Get rid of my measurement stick there. Yeah, now we just need a tooth here, so we need some kind of tooth going on. Get our black collar back. We'll have to come through here and recolor this to make it not look like it's just a pure gray blob of editing. Yeah, that actually is not too bad. We're pretty close to the original. So if we come across we're really good on this one. So one thing is I may not be able to make my own custom art, but I've learned to mimic art pretty good. It's one of the reasons I'm actually not an artist though, is I don't like the idea of copying people, so I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I don't do that. Although I got a couple buddies that's the way they do art, and it's okay to actually do it that way. There's nothing wrong with learning to copy people as long as you note that it isn't 100% original. Man, this doesn't really look like a gear. I mean, it does, but at the same time it doesn't, if you guys are catching my drift here. That's okay, though. I mean, I'm going to use it. It looks more like a shield in my opinion, but then the original kind of has that same kind of methodology where it looks more like a shield than anything else. Let's see, kind of like a line going down that way. Thing is, if Morton does this, he does this via layers, and I end up doing it by hand more than often. That's just the way I know how to texture, is by doing it with a pencil. I treat it pretty much the same way I would draw in real life. Okay. And then we have like this little pixel line going up there. Okay, we get the bucket fill and we just start bucket filling this. That's not bad. I mean, he's got basically a bit of randomization going on his. That's the reason why his looks a little better than what mine is. Mine just kind of looks like I just put lines across it, but his is randomized. Plus he's got the gray border edge going on with his gear, which we'll mimic here in a second. So yeah, once you put that gray in there, it looks a bit better. Although it's starting to look like it blends with the background a little bit too much, which is not exactly ideal. So I was thinking like, I might want to just do a black edge here. Okay, and we got some of there. What I might want to do, so we'll make a new layer real quick. We'll call this cog. Put this above the gear layer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop out our gear. And what we want to do is we want to take and set our threshold hard for start. Do a color select. Get rid of this. Let's get rid of our background here because I need to. Yeah, I need to get rid of some pixels here. Apparently there's a slight discoloration with that one pixel there. Okay, and then we go to our background here, and we're going to rename this to gear back gear button back, and we'll rename this to gear button cog. Put this down here so they're next to each other. And we'll even do something better. We'll do a new layer group here, and we'll call this gear button. And we'll drag both these in here. That way we keep track of them much better. And we can just call this back, and we can call this cog. That way we can do something like this and just turn off that whole spot. Get the background real quick, and we'll fix the color here so we get that spacing back there. File save. And we select the here real quick. Brightness contrast. Up the contrast a little bit. Drop the brightness a little bit. Okay. We ended up back at our black icon here, but whatever. It looks a little better. Nah, actually, we're going to Control Z this, and we're going to redo it. Color brightness and brightness contrast. I only went up the contrast just a little bit, and then we'll drop the brightness by a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. So much more definitive edges on here. And then we want to do filters, add some noise, and just get some random noise in there. We'll drop our threshold down a little bit. Yeah, we get a little bit of noise in there. Is there like a brush I could use? There's a smudge, there's a dodge, there's a blur, perspective clone, inking tool, airbrush. Let's try that. change the size here. I don't actually remember how Morton does his. Oh well. Let's go back to just using the pen here. And we'll just grab some colors. And we'll just start kind of thumbing these in here to get some little bit of differences here. I mean, there's an art to this, and the fact is I don't know how to do it. Actually, what if I just do this real quick? It actually looks a little better. It's a little closer to the original. I think I just undid my randomization. It looks like he's got like a shadow introduced underneath the gear cog, trying to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. I just noticed that. Oh, well, I just selected the wrong thing. So you can sort of see it underneath there. It's really might not be as easy to see in the video because the quality might be a little lower. But yeah, there's a 3D-ish underlay here. You know what, I'm just going to call that it. So I don't spend a huge amount of time texturing when the goal is to actually do some programming here. Anyways, we can get rid of the original gear now. I wanted to delete the layer, not just delete the contents of the layer. And we want to duplicate our cog. So, like this real quick, just go Control Z. And you just got to position it. Okay. And we're just going to repeat that on this one real quick, and then this one just needs to be brightness contrasted, the brightness just needs to be dropped. We'll up the contrast too a little bit while we're at it. And then this one needs to kind of be colorized a little bit. Not exactly color, so let's do hue and saturation. And apparently that doesn't do anything. That's not going to do anything either. Color balance. Okay, that looks good. It's not perfect. It'll work though. So we got those, and now the last thing we need is a node button. Also, this kind of looks. What's the spacing on here? It's about 3, 3. That's 4. This one's off by a little bit. There we go. Okay, file save. Yeah, so let's go ahead and just copy this background here, and we'll do our node really fast. And make sure I actually copy this properly. Something's off about this. So how many pixels we got between these two? 3. How many pixels we got between these two? 4. Okay. This whole layers needs to be moved down one. Oh yeah, you can see the background's not perfect. Means the cogs need to be adjusted. Okay, there we go. So I was like getting ready to select that, and I'm like, there's not 2 pixels on each edge. And I'm like, oh, what's wrong with that? Okay, so now we want a new layer group. We don't want this in the actual thing here. We do this and put a chain on that so we don't edit that, and put this down here. And we're going to call this, yeah, we'll call it a node button. And then we'll do a new layer. And we'll get the background, which will be the first thing, and there we go. It's going to force it to be back one, just so it doesn't conflict. Okay, so for this, we're just going to make a circle thing. Bring it in 2 pixels on each side. And we're just going to bucket fill it with like black. That looks horrible. Would help if the size is the same. What? We lost our octagonal selection. Fuck it, we'll just use a black squib. Yeah, we'll just use this for temporary because I don't really care to sit here much longer and edit nodes. And we gotta change the color on these though. So, yeah, what we'll do is I'll do this real quick. This will be this dark. No, I want to edit this. Be that dark color. We'll go to the back and we'll make each of these pretty much the respective color of the button. And it's not going to be exactly imaginative, but we just need something so we know we have a button uniquely for that. And we'll hit export as, and then button here, replace. And we have this whole sheet. By the way, like when people might go like, why are you making a whole bunch of custom buttons in here? We have this whole sheet to make buttons in. We can literally probably pack another 40 buttons in here. And then if that's a problem, we just make another sheet and we can pack another 40 buttons in that one. There's actually probably more than 40 buttons, so I can count like this. I'm not going to count it, fuck that. But we got room. So, trying to think of how to do this real quick. I think I'm just going to add entries to it because we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing, and we'll make the 9 pixel button. Actually, we do the row column thing. But I'm going to reuse these buttons more than likely, so we're going to want to... So we're going to want new player button. We want new gear button and new node button. And that should be a 9. That shouldn't be size. Okay, so it should be 10, 11, 12. I need to make an enum of these basically at this point. Because then with the enum I can automatically gauge where everything's going to be at. But this will work. Then we want to do, this will be new gear button, new node button, and the new player button. And we'll go ahead and check these out real quick. And then once we get that done, we'll go ahead and implement the GUIs for these. These should be really quickly to get those GUIs up and running. I've got the backend work done at this point. I'll probably come through here later and I'll redo a lot of these button textures to do that layer system where you have a background and then you have a thing. But what I'll probably do is I'll make the whole sheet a background, and I'll just tediously copy and paste the blank button over and over and over again. Or I'll see if I can find a plugin that can mirror mode it. Okay. Still working my way through the same 2 liter of soda. That'll probably take me the rest of the week to drink. Which is good. It's a good thing to actually drink less soda than more. Although I kind of want to replace it with water. At least that's the plan. Yeah, we'll get these buttons up, and then we'll get the GUIs implemented, and then after that, I'm not sure how many more videos I'm going to make today. I think maybe one or two more. Although it doesn't matter, because you guys will probably not be watching these on the same day I make them, but you guys get the point. Blarg blarg, more words. I've got to find a way to load this faster. I think if I remove Tinkers from the load environment, I think that might actually produce it faster. I think Tinkers is what's causing it to load slow. That and IC2, but I can't remove IC2 at the moment. Oh yeah, I don't know why I'm in the creative tab. We want to look at this here. There we go. Those are not correct. We're off by quite a bit. That's because the check button is the reason why I'm off here. Okay, so the check button is 3, so I think we need 13, 14, and 15. We'll configure this out really quickly. I just gotta reload the GUI. There we go. There's our gear, there's our node, and there's our player face. So we click the gear, we go to there, and we don't have anything for these two, but we're going to implement that over here in a second. So go ahead and close this down. And now we need to do this. So what we need to do is basically, we'll grab this first. Yeah, we'll leave the ID the same because we don't use the ID, but this needs to be group users is what the last one needs to be. Group users. This needs to be group nodes. And these two need to be created real quick. So I need to make something called a subframe. Actually, do I have a... So, okay, we're extending group frame access. Where's group frame access? Oh, here it is. So we're going to copy this, and we need to make a group frame, or group subframe access. I guess we'll extend group frame access. And what this will do is it'll have our back button in it. So this will be, parent needs to be passed into this. Get rid of this part. Then I need to copy, actually I don't need that, I need this whole thing. Not the whole thing, but I need this, so. So we need, yeah, I'll just copy the whole thing. It'll be easier that way. So group subframe, and we'll do this. Then all I have to do is rename this. We want to make sure we keep the name of the at the top. We don't need this part, but we're going to recycle this. That means I need to go to my group frame here, and we need to change this to group subframe. Import this. We'll leave the position set here, even though we don't really need it. This will be group ID. We don't no longer need to keep track of the back button or the group, so we don't need this. I'll leave the update position here. Actually, no, I'll remove it because we're not doing anything with it. I need to get the group. I just messed up on this. I just realized it too. I need to make another one of these. So I need to make something called group frame. So we actually, you know what? I'll just copy this. So we'll Control C, Control V. This will be group frame. and then get rid of this. We need to keep the reason I need to do this is I need that group ID. But I don't need this. We need this part. We need we don't need this. This will be handled by the super. But I need the group ID, but the subframes don't need the group ID. It doesn't need any of this stuff. We don't need any of that, but we need the back button. There we go. We don't need to handle that. Group frame. This needs to be groups. So you need subframe. Okay, we're good there. Okay. Frame group needs to then extend group frame. This needs to be renamed as settings, just so it's not confusing. We then super everything in there. We don't need this. I'm just going to leave everything on the default settings. The only thing we need to do now is render the parent, and we need to then render that line. And then that's handled by the super. And then what we can also do, I'm going to actually do this real quick because this will be nice, is in our doRender, we'll make another doRender method and we'll pass in the group. So we'll go access group, and what we'll do is we'll go doRender MC group mouse X mouse Y. And then we'll copy this, and we'll put this over here. That way we don't have to keep accessing the group, it's already accessed for us. We don't need the action performed anymore, that's handled by the super. We're going to leave the initialize in here in case we decide to come back in here and add more buttons and stuff. Actually, we're not going to add buttons right now, so we'll just do that. I'll do this later. And now we need to copy this part. I'm going to just duplicate each part here. That way it's a little faster. Add a space, then do that. There we go. And this needs to be group frame, group users. Rename this. Right now we're just going to empty these two. We're going to leave that there, and we're going to do the same thing over here. With the nodes, we're just going to display the nodes right now. We're not going to let them be accessible because that'll take too much time to get that all handled. Not actually as much as you think, but it'll just be, I got to add a whole bunch of dialogues for adding and removing group nodes. And what we're focused on right now is I want to just get users added so you can start adding people to your friend or foe list for your sentry guns. So your sentry guns will murder people or not murder people, depending on what you're doing. So this would be, we got to decide how many nodes we want to display. Right now I'm just going to let it flow off the edge of the screen. So string node, we're going to go group, got get nodes, and we're just going to display them. So we'll do int y equals 0. We'll do a drawString mc.font render. I have an ideal actually. So I want to go close a few of these. I guess I'm going to do it the hard way. I want to go up to the one of the super methods real quick, and I want to add a couple helpers. So I come down here and make a drawString method. Public void drawString int x, int y, string s. And this would be super, or this would be, I just go call it drawString. And it'd be mc.fontRender, or yeah, Minecraft dot get Minecraft dot font render. So I don't have to keep typing in font render every time I want to render, and I don't have to do a whole bunch of other things. And I could do some special handling down here. Like I can go, okay, here's your default string caller. Actually, what we want to do is we're going to go int caller, and we're going to pass caller in here, and we'll do a few methods real quick. That way I don't have to type as much to get my strings to start rendering every time I want to do this. So we'll remove this, and this will be drawString and We'll do this as x, y, s, default, string color. And we'll do another version of this real quick, that then you pass in the actual color. And it'll be color.get RGB. And we'll also do if color doesn't equal null. That way we can set it up so it doesn't fail. Go default string color. And on top of this, there's a really cool thing we do like that. So if we accidentally pass in a null string, it'll render null instead of crashing. Although I don't know if does this actually handle null? Render with shadow string alpha. I'm not following that all the way through. So we got those. The main reason I actually wanted to make this though is so I can do this. I can add my position of my actual component to my string render call. That way I can render this as pretty much 10, not 10, but 10 times 10 and then node to string. How's get nodes work? Just got nodes. I think we can just display the nodes. I don't think we have to do anything with them. The reason I was kind of questioning that, looking at that real quick, is the nodes are weird. Essentially, you could have things like this. We could have like node dot all, and then you can have node dot parm dot a or something. So we have a layer system, but when you go to register the permission, you actually just register A, and it would build out this whole node thing. And I can't tell if it's going to pass me back this or if it's going to pass me back this part. And I'm hoping it's the second one because then I don't have to do anything with it. But we'll get the screen working. I need to make sure we're not at the top of the GUI, so we'll do like +20. That'll work. I do need to sort the nodes, to be honest. I need to sort them by their parent, so that way you can see them properly. A few other things I needed to add as well. Like if you're giving somebody like a node star, you should just auto remove all the subnodes out of it, or it should indicate that you should go ahead and do that. Why is there an underline under that? Oh, well, ignoring that. Now we just need to do the user list. So that's profile users. I need to make a new package for that real quick. This will be users. I'm just going to toss these both in here because I don't know what to do with those, and those need to not be in the mains folder. To be honest, we'll also be adding machines as another group, and there will be another group called entities. We'll probably not implement these anytime soon, but there'll be 4 tabs you'll be able to work with. You'll work with group tab, user tab, machine tab, and entity tab. It'll actually go group, entity, machines, and then users. Users will be the last tab because you don't want to be editing users directly. You want to edit the group and then give nodes that way. But if somebody decides they want to edit a user directly and give them a very unique permit, say they want this guy, the only guy that gets into this vault, and they can give him a perm for that, so he can enter that area without getting killed by sentry guns. Back to our group thing, we want to edit the user one. And the reason why these are all in sub packages, I plan to add a lot more components in here, a lot nicer stuff. For example, the user is probably going to get a call back here in a second, but we're just going to do the same thing with the nodes real quick, and we're just going to display these just so we can see what's going on. This will be get users, get members apparently, and this will be access user, and then we just want to go node to string, I guess. That should display, yeah, it should display the user. That'll work. We'll also rename this too real quick. And run debug, and we'll check it out, see if how we're working. And we're getting really close now, because now I got this GUI up. All I got to do is add my array. So the same array system we're using for the group list, we will then add one for users. So that way you'll be able to interact with the users real quick. Right now, how it's going to work is you'll be able to remove a user from a group, and you'll be able to add a user from a group. But if later there'll be a button to edit the user directly, so you'll be able to go jump to that edit user screen, like I was talking about we'll have for the profile. So more likely that's going to be a generic screen that isn't going to be dedicated just to profile access, it'll just be for the user. We'll get to that, and then I got to add a whole bunch of packet callbacks still, because when you go to edit user, you got to send all this to the server, and the server is the one that's got to do all the actions. The client should just trigger the event, and the server should go, yeah, this guy's got the permissions to edit this, and he's good to go, and edit the profile. This way, if somebody decides to cheat and modify their client to mess with the GUI, they won't get very far. The server will literally go, nope, you're not allowed doing that. Nope, you're not allowed doing that. It'll keep backhanding them and saying, no, you're not allowed doing that. Although I like to point out there will be legitimate hacking in this game eventually, and that'll be Fallout style, and you'll be able to hack into sentry guns and stuff, and that will modify the global profiles slightly. It won't actually mess with, oh goddamn, somebody's running the blender. I sometimes wish I get a heads up on that somebody's going to be running appliances. That way I can be like, hey, I'm recording, can you just wait maybe like 10 minutes before you do that? But nobody seems to care. Which is okay. I mean, these videos' audio quality is pretty bad to start with. The plan is to get some video editing software here eventually when I'm producing enough money off of modding. I think I need to be making another $200 a month to sustain that, because I need to pay the monthly bill, plus I'd have to buy a copy of the software probably for a couple other people. In reality, I think if I get 50 plus more a month, I can probably do that, but we'll have to see how that works. No promises on that, so don't just go donate money and then expect me next day to have editing software. So we open this, we crashed. Didn't take long. Oh, that's why. No, actually, yeah, we're good on that. I can just delete that. And we'll run a debug again. In reality, by the way, we wouldn't actually be rendering this way, but I'm just rendering this way for easy buttons. So I don't have to do a lot of work to show that this is functional. What we would actually do is we would implement an array like we were doing with the groups and the profile settings, and that would take over all the rendering. So you wouldn't actually have to specifically program rendering like I'm doing here. But of course, we're doing this just for testing purposes. So we'll get an array set up on this, and we'll get an array set up on the other one. So this will also, what this will have is you'll have basically a delete button next to this, and you'll have a delete button next to the users over here, and then there'll be at the very bottom of the GUI will be a way to add users and nodes to the group. I was thinking about doing a prompt or dialogue for adding stuff, and I just realized I could just, at the bottom, I got all this space on this GUI, so at the bottom I could do stuff. I love the fact I got all this space to work with. It's going to be really nice too, because when I get this access system done and I get the update to 1.8 done, I'm going to mirror the access system GUI, and that's what we're going to use to make our in-game wiki book. And we're also going to do probably an in-game web browser too. So there'll be like a limited web browser that you'll be able to browse a few sites on. The reason for doing that is you'll be able to open up your server's news page, for example. So if a server owner wants to go, hey, we got an update going on, he can then flash an update, say, in the corner of your screen. You can click that, and it'll open up that server's web page, and then they can handle displaying news and related other things on that web page. Unfortunately, we're also going to be doing ads with this too. That's one of the reasons why we're doing it. I hate to do it, but I need to find some way to generate revenue for myself. A lot of server owners want to generate revenue that way. I'm going to make it unintrusive as possible, so it's not going to be annoying, and I'm going to add a lot of limitations. Like the only ads that are going to be supported right now are going to be Google ads, because they're pretty safe and they're pretty moderated. We'll look at it. We'll experiment with it. If you guys don't want that to be implemented, and you voice enough of an opinion against it, we might pull that concept. It's not something that we absolutely need to have, but it's something that a few people have asked us to implement, because it's not a horrible idea. It's a way to pay for servers and stuff, and I don't think any of you guys would be that annoyed if at the very top of your screen, say like the top half an inch up there would just a really quickly an ad that went by that said, "Hey, go to CreeperHost for ultimate servers, or go to Acalist for the best servers on the planet, or come download this mod because it's amazing." So there'll be like pre-approved ads like that maybe. And your server owner can also use that to go, "Hey, server's going to be restarting in 20 minutes," and it'll be a constant ad that or constant stream that go up there saying server's restarting rather than in your chat, which I'm pretty sure server owners would love to have that system where they can go up there. Anyways, we'll go back to editing this. Okay, apparently Hostile's got no nodes. Of course, it's got no players. There we go. We got a player there, and all of our nodes are squashed. Okay, we need to fix that. What did we mess up? Oh, I know what we did. This needs to be times 10 plus I, or plus plus. And we fix the player list with this too. I don't know why I'm fixing the player list. The honesty truth of it is I got to go through and just rewrite this in a second. There we go. So we got all of our nodes here. There should be a root.all node here, but there's not. And if we go nodes on here, we can see like you got admin, root group, lock unlock, modify. We go to the user. User can, of course, it's marked as friendly. Should not be marked as hostile, but I don't know why it's marked as hostile. I'll fix that later. Because the FOF system will shoot you if you're marked as hostile. I don't get why we're marked as FOF. Something broke here. I'll look at it later. It's probably because these two are actually, yeah, these two are messed up. They're not built up right. So you got the first two are actually screwed up, and the user's getting it because I messed up and didn't fix these two groups. Okay, so we'll work on that here later, and I'm gonna go ahead and end this recording and go see why people are running around the house and stuff.